Why would anybody want to live in China? And this is a question Dan Ramsey asked in the comment section about a week ago on my channel, and I'm not sure whether it's a snide remark or whether it's just a regular question, because it could go either way. It could be, why would anybody ever want to live in China? Or it could be just a question, why would anybody want to live in China? Well, I'm going to answer that question in this video. Yes, sirree. I'm not freaking blind, guys. It's Gweilo style. I think it's Thursday. You could die. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Geez, oh yeah, because it goes on and on and on. For all you haters, there's something to chew on for the next couple of... You have to understand, there's good and bad in every country, every society around the world, and China's no different. But I've lived here for 21 years, and there has to be a reason for that. Well, the first reason was my wife Wei Fong was from China, and I've met a lot of foreigners here in China, and each one of them is married to a Chinese lady. They really take care of you well. They can cook. They have a really good temperament. They're not big enough to beat you up, and but they just seem to be the perfect wife material. And I think that's one of the main reasons that people actually come to China and live here in China, is because their wife is from China. I just got lucky, and Wei Fong was from Nanning, and but on the flip side, it is very noisy here in China, and there are a lot of people. So there's good things and there's bad things. The street food is amazing, and the restaurants are like by the thousands. So you can find whatever you want here, except for maybe a good barbecued steak. In Nanning, you get into the bigger cities like Chongqing and Shanghai and Beijing, Guangzhou, then those things are there for the price. And that's another thing. In China, everything is so damn inexpensive. And I've said this before, everybody knows I'm a beer drinker, and I've said this before. Back in 2003, I could go to the corner store and buy a Li Qian beer for 5 RMB, so less than $1 Canadian, about 70 cents American, and that's a tall boy, of course, because why buy the short ones? And today I can go to the same store and buy that Li Qian Peugeot for 5 yuan, 5 RMB. So they haven't gotten the inflation here. I was actually going to stop at the wet market here this morning and do a quick video about the costs of food and fruits and meats and vegetables and whatever in China here, and I just didn't have time. I'll probably do that. I'm off to Zhejiang here in 2 days for 4 days. That's the southernmost tip of mainland China is where I'm going. They've got white dolphins. They've got fish farms, big cages that they grow fish and octopus in the same cages and stuff. So those are going to be some pretty neat videos coming up. But the idea that the weather here in southern China is good. Being a Canadian, I don't like cold weather, and I never have. So I've always been looking for a nice warm climate to live in, and Nanning is that place. Plus, they have culture that goes back about 6,000 years here. So when you walk into a place like we're walking into now, this is a reenactment or a reconstruction of an old village. But they actually do have some of these buildings are the original buildings, the ones that held up over time. But so they have culture. They've got beautiful places, especially here in Guangxi Autonomous Region. You got Mingxi countryside, you got Gweilo, you got the Karst Mountains, you got the Yong and the Li River. You've got just the beauty of it all. Like Besa is an amazing place. They've got bullfights. They've got singing ladies, and they make different types of baijiu in each community, and so when you look at that, you've got the culture in China too. It's a very safe place, and that's one of the main things that I noticed. Not saying that there aren't crazy people here too. You know, that's just the way it is. But as I was saying, you know, they've got the culture, but it doesn't just end at that. You know, the world here is getting better. When I started coming to China back in 2003, you know, things were a bit difficult. You didn't have the subways in the bigger cities. You didn't have you didn't have good hospitals. You didn't have good schools. You didn't have good universities. You didn't have a lot of that stuff. But China's pulled up their socks and got to work on this. Now the roads are world class. The subway systems are all brand new. They're inexpensive. I can go from one side of the city to the other side of the city for under $1. I can jump on a high-speed train in Nanning and be in 2 hours. I can be just about 1,000 kilometers away, you know what I mean, or at least 500-600 kilometers away, and it'll cost me maybe $20 Canadian. You can go to the hospital and for 3 or 4 RMB for a regular doctor and about 15 RMB, so anywhere from 60 cents to just under $3, you can see either a general practitioner or you can see a specialist for the 15 RMB, and you can go in there and you can do it right away. When you go in and say you need a blood test, and there's 150 people in front of you, and you go, oh geez, and then 10 minutes later it's your turn, you know. So China is really efficient. The hospitals are getting better. The educational institutes are getting better. The safety, oh, that's what I was talking about. The safety, you know, in China is this has got to be the safest country in the world. And because they have laws that govern what you can do and what you can't do, and there's actual punishment for that, and the punishment can be severe. So assaulting somebody, hurting somebody, oh, you're going to jail, and you're going to jail for a while. So it's a deterrent where they don't have that in the West anymore, and that's what hurts the West so much. And you see stuff like this on a regular basis anywhere that you go in China. So it's not just Nanning City. It's starting to get warm out again now. Here in southern China, it's humid all the time. Even in the wintertime, it's humid. So it gets a little close. But you know, the combination of the safety, of inexpensive, of you know, the world getting better, the high-speed trains, the technology that they have now, the better hospitals, the better educational institutions, more educated people, so you don't have that hawk to all of the time like you used to maybe 10 or 15 years ago. You know, China has evolved into a place that used to be difficult to live in back in 2003, 2007, 2010-ish. It was more difficult to live in than it is right now. But now you can get whatever you want. When you could have a meal delivered to your door. You can have anything delivered to your doorstep. So it's like the convenience of it all. Did I say there's thousands and thousands of restaurants? And there are. And you can spend as much as you want or as little as you want. It all depends on you. But the idea that this country has evolved into something that, quite frankly, I didn't think it would. And as I watched it grow, as I watched it develop, as I lived here longer and sort of took it all in, it sort of grew on me to the point where, why wouldn't you live in a place like China? I think that's the question that should have been answered after watching all of the videos that I do, as Gweilo 60, or Lee Barrett does, or Alex from Reporter by Media does, or Daniel Dumbrell does, or Mexicanos in China, Wu Jiao, David. You know, we all show you the real world in China, and we live here, and people that have never been here try to tell us that it's something that it's not, because they listen to people that might have lived here back in the days when it was a little bit tougher to live here, and they don't get the full understanding of what China has become, and they never will, because they've got a narrow mind, and they don't want to learn anything more. They've already made up that hate idea in their head, And it's a shame because they're missing out on one of the largest countries in the world, one of the most populated, one of the most rich countries in the world, and one of the safest countries in the world. And so they're the losers as far as I'm concerned, and I'm living the dream here in mainland China, in Nanning City, in Guangxi Autonomous Region, an hour and a half from the Vietnam border and an hour and a half from the South China Sea, and I'm loving it. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60. Oh, and what do I take as the top reason to live in China? The girls, definitely the girls. The girls are by far superior to any other country that I've ever been in. They're more intelligent, they work harder, they've got a bigger heart, and they're freaking gorgeous. And I'll leave you with that. That's another video from Gweilo 60 on the noisy streets of Nanning City. Like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, peace out as always. Bye now. A couple other things. You know, when I first started coming to Nanning, there were very few high-rises. Now there's high-rises everywhere. They're clean. The construction is second to none. Doesn't matter what people tell you. A lot of people that have never been to China will talk about tofu houses and stuff like that. Used to be like that in some areas, but those days are over. It's actually more strict here on the building codes than any other place I've ever seen. So that's different, and the quality of life has gotten so much better that the life expectancy has basically doubled in the last 50 years. Like, seriously, from 1950 or 1960 to the year 2010, I think you went from 40 years old to 80 years old. So think about that. It's the healthy lifestyle, the good food that they eat. You know, people walk here rather than take their cars everywhere. It's just a healthier world. There's, as you can see, no pollution. You know, used to be a polluted cesspool back 20-some years ago. That's all cleaned up. They're big on green energy here, on solar, on windmills, and I've done videos in the past, you know, showing that on the mountaintops, or windmills in the ocean, or solar farms, or, you know, any of these things. So, you know, the advancements that they've made here in China over the last 20-some years has just astounded me. And you know, those pretty girls I was talking about? Hello. And they're everywhere, and they're so nice. My God, I think I'm going to stay in China.